Steve Austin. Every time I see him, I forget to tell him this. I'm walking down the hall and he passes me. He's like, Rhino, you're a good kid. You mean the world to me. And I'm just like, man, I literally felt like I started to float walking down the hallway. Literally 5 minutes later, I hear Austin say the same exact thing to a guy working at the building, like a security guard. He's like, hey, you're a good kid. You mean the world to me. And I was just like, oh, it like took the air out of my sails, right? And so then, that whole day he would say that. And Austin was great because he would find out something funny to say, and then he'd say it for a week or two, and then he'd move on to the next, funny thing to say. But I'll never forget that. I'm just like, oh, I'm only here for a couple months, and, things are going great. People are starting to accept me. You can feel it. I'm a great kitty. I mean the world to him. And then literally 5 minutes later, it was like, wah, wah, wah.
Stone Cold found out the hard way what it feels like when the ring ropes decide to go into business for themselves.
I'd like to ask you guys most embarrassing moment in the ring. Mine happened live on pay-per-view. It was a triple threat match. Myself, Triple H, Mankind, and Jesse the Body Ventura was a special referee. Now I'm standing on the bottom rope and I go upside down and I'm hanging in the ropes. And so I'm yelling, Nick can't hear me because he got one ear. And so then I'm yelling, Jesse, and Jesse's over trying to get his stuff in. I can't yell at Triple H to help me because he's the heel. And so, finally he sees that we can't continue the match unless he turns me upright. So there's no reason logically for Triple H to save me, but he does. And when he does, we automatically start fighting a slew of cuss words. I'm going, God.
CM Punk reveals how he tricked Stone Cold into coming out for one night just to open a can of whoop-ass.
Doing like maybe a season of Tough Enough or something like that, like 2009-ish or something. So he was there, and then he's just like kind of sitting there, and I'm looking, and I'm like, nobody's talking to him. He's just sitting by himself. And I walk up to him and I go, you done for the night? He's like, yeah, I did my segment. I was like, well, listen, I got to do a dark match. And it was normally me versus John or Ray or Taker or, Jeff until he was gone. So I was always the heel doing this stuff. And we were in San Diego, so I'm assuming it was Ray. You want to come out and send these people home happy? Goddamn, kid. What do you got in mind? Well, I'm supposed to do a dark match, and I really don't want to take a bunch of bumps. Yeah. And nothing is going to make these people happier than me going out there, beating up Ray, inviting a bunch of other heels out, beating up Ray, and then hit the music. Glass breaks, you come down, I go, you want to give us all a bunch of stunners? And he's just, and like, it's the first time I saw that twinkle in Steve's eye. He's like, goddamn, kid, can we do that? So now I gotta go get the boys. Yeah. Because we're in San Diego, a lot of people have red ice and stuff. But I remember I got Miz, Truth, and I was like, guys, you want to take some stunners? And everybody, of course, is just like, yes, let's go. And it just turned into, we're all nerds.
Cody Rhodes reveals the time Stone Cold pulled a real-life Batman act in a parking lot and just vanished into thin air.
I got a great Stone Cold story. I don't know if you guys remember the New Japan Long Beach show. I wrestled Okada. But I went out to the parking lot, and he had come to watch that show and sit on the truck with one of his friends who was producing the show. And I didn't know that. There was whispers that Steve Austin was there. And he started walking across the parking lot. I mean, it's Steve Austin. He was giving me really sincere, genuine advice from, wrestling's most prolific moneymaker. You have to stop yourself from stop being a fan and listen to what he's saying. Listen. And so I'm listening, and then all this press and media is slowly coming up, slowly coming. It's literally looking like they're moving up, and right as they got a little closer, he just patted me on the shoulder. He turned around, and he walked off into the darkness. There was no car, there was no hotel, there was no thing, and it was like Batman. It was legit like Batman because there were people like, where'd he go? And he was gone. So I don't know if he turned the corner and sprinted, but yeah, it's just a really special thing.
Next up, we find out why you should never get into the ring with an 800-pound giant after a big meal, especially when one slam can literally squeeze the life right out of your trunks.
True or false, you actually shit your pants while wrestling Yokozuna?
True. Yeah, a lot of times when you do international travel, when you're doing international travel and there's a dietary change,
The
things
chemistry.
happen. Yoke is probably weighing, 600-700 pounds at the time. When you're that heavy, 100 pounds doesn't make a difference. He might have been 800. So anyway, goddamn Yoke picks me up with one arm and slams the shit out of me. Literally, he slammed the shit out of me. I shit my pants. I'm lucky I wore black trunks. And it wasn't like a gigantic shit, but I sprayed. So I'm thinking to myself again, no pun intended, oh shit. I gotta get out of this motherfucker. So I look up at Yoke and I was laying there on the mat. I just crapped my trunks and I looked at him. I said, Yoke, let's go home. And he so cool, he goes, okay, bro. And we went home. We did the finish of the match. I can't remember who won or lost. And I headed directly to the showers and took care of business.
A little while back about when Steve Austin came up with the what. I think was it a phone call to you where that started? He left you a message on your voicemail or something and he kept shouting it down the phone or something. Is that how it began? What?
Yeah, we landed in Chicago and we had a show that day, I think in Rockford, Illinois, and it was a couple hour drive away. So I landed and went to the gym, and this gym we used to go to in Chicago was downstairs in like a basement, so there was no cell phone service. When I came out of the gym, I guess Steve, when landed, he went straight to the town, and had a voicemail from him, and I was like, well, what's this about? So he's just calling me. He was bored, so he was calling to talk, and I didn't answer. So he left this rambling voicemail on my on my answering machine. So it was he was just like saying random stuff like, I'm just passing this tree. What? I said I'm passing a tree. What? And then he was just random, like about anything, and I was like, what is he talking about? And I got there, I was like, what was with that voicemail you left me? And he's like, I don't know, I was just bored, I was just rambling. And then I wish I had kept it. And then probably a week or two later, I was sitting in the back on Raw and I heard him, I could just hear the audio from him out doing a promo in the ring, and I heard him doing the what? I was like, I can't believe he's gonna do this.
Austin reveals why you should never mess with a Texas rattlesnake, especially when he decides it's time for a receipt.
So anyway, a long time ago, I was working with the big boss man, Ray Traylor. Ray Traylor's about 6'6", 300 pounds. He was a former, prison guard, and that was his gimmick, big boss man. And Ray hit me with about 6 lefts, and referee Earl Hebner's kind of sitting there watching. He's kind of got this shit-eating grin on his face. He's kind of smiling because he knows I'm only going to take a few more. So finally, I've decided I've had enough. So I picked up Ray. Again, Ray's 6'6", about 300 some odd pounds. I sent him into the ropes, and I told him, I said, watch your clothesline. So when I tell a guy, watch your clothesline, normally you're going to hit a guy right here. You don't want to hit him in the Adam's apple. You just want to hit him here with enough force so through his axis, a pivot point, he can take his bump and land on his back. Here comes Ray, 6'6". Well, I decided, this was a receipt. I'm not going to give him a clothesline. What I did, I balled up my fist like that with my forearm, and as he was coming, I went, bam. I hit him right between the eyes of my forearm with everything I had, and Big Ray went down. And he's on his hands and knees, and on his knees, he's damn near as tall as I am. But he looked up at me like this, and it was almost like a Saturday morning cartoon with stars going around his head like this, and he had this smile on his face because he knew he fucked up. And he goes, okay. And he was recognized in the fact that I gave him a receipt, and he didn't tee off on me for the rest of the night.
Diamond Dallas Page reveals how Austin would do anything to keep his beer ice cold.
When I put ice on my body, and I put them on both my knees.
What has got you laughing this hard? I know where he's going. It was, no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
People were like, what the are you doing? Steve Austin, God bless him. I was one of the guys he would drive with when I started working, right? So Steve wanted to drive alone.
Hot damn, Paige!
I can remember one time we were going to a chat, and I'm gunning one car, and here comes this car, and I'm in the fast lane. He's speeding by me, and all he's doing is this.
He's got the middle finger up.
But Steve, we'd get to the towns early, and he'd get in the ring with me. But later on, we got that case of beer chilling out there, or no case of beer, and that's where he'd take my ace bandages were wrapped around my ice bags, and he'd put the beer in between. He's a friggin'
Improvise.
ace-man. Yeah.
Gotta improvise here.
Improvise.
Big Show reveals why he thought giving Stone Cold a wedgie was the biggest mistake of his life, but was actually a lesson on how he should work as a giant.
I'm working with Stone Cold that night. I bumped him out to the floor. I come out to get him, roll him back in. When I rolled him back in, I pulled him up by the trunks and I accidentally gave him a wedgie. Don't give Stone Cold Steve Austin a wedgie. He takes it very personal. So when I slid back in the ring, it was, I mean, 3 times really hard. The kind of punches that your ears ring. I think he was trying to knock me out, but I'm still a giant. He goes, off the tights, you stupid son of a bitch. I lost it. I got mad. I grabbed him by the face. I picked him up. I ran him across the ring, pinned him over the turnbuckle. I was like, hey, you son of a bitch. Like, I lost it. And he goes, there you go, kid. Way to fire up. At the end, he finally hits me with a stunner. He goes, kick out. Nobody kicks out of a stunner. Oh, he's trying to get me fired. He goes, get up. He hits me with another stunner. We get to the 7th stunner and he goes, okay, I'm blown up. Let's go home. I learned that night because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't have to wait for anybody to do anything being a giant.
Best Zelda game.
Ocarina of Time, hands down.
No, dude, Breath of the Wild.
Oh, that's a bold choice.
Bold choice.
Let's look at why you should never tell The Undertaker you're going to stretch him, unless you're ready to spend the entire night tied up like a human pretzel.
And I said, just watch yourself out there. I said, I'm gonna stretch you. And I said, I'll see you there.
Well, I don't remember it being that pleasant. I heard it, which was probably over a payphone. It was one of those moments like I was like, no, he didn't say that, you know. So then I called Dutch. What he just said to me, he said he's gonna stretch my ass. He said, what are you gonna do about it? Okay, no, this ain't gonna go down like that, right? So we got in there.
You had me tied up 6 ways from Sunday in a couple damn different chutes, sugar holes, whatever you want to call them. I'm just laying there like, man, because you weren't hurting me, but you just had me tied up. I couldn't do nothing unless you let me go. And I'm thinking, really? I mean, what is this all about? I thought we were supposed to hit the ropes and stuff. And so I tagged out. The other guy went in, and Dutch looked over him and goes, hell, what'd you do? Did you piss him off? You know, Dutch is hot.
He'd stirring it all up.
Stone Cold proves that even $1 million payday can't buy the rattlesnake's soul, especially when it involves dressing up like a giant bottle of juice for a crypto scammer like Logan Paul.
Bro, we offered Steve $1 million to be in the Prime bottle. He didn't do it. So instead he ran a poor woman over with an ATV. Oh. Imagine it. He face revealed the Prime bottle. It's Stone Cold.
Down, is that true?
If he said that, I'm not going to call him a liar. I just thought that was kind of personal business. So since it's out there, yeah, I turned it down. I'm in the beer business. I don't know anything about his products, if it's good, if it's bad, or whatever. So it wasn't my thing.
But I don't think people wanted to see you dressed up in a Prime bottle.
That's not my gimmick, you know.
I don't think he considered it for
the
a second.
WWE universe would kill him.
Austin explains how WWE almost buried his career before it even started, with the most ridiculous names you've ever heard.
How did the name Stone Cold come about?
Back in the day, I was wrestling as Steve Austin. One of the guys that I was traveling with gave me the name Stunning Steve Austin.
You were a great-looking guy, right?
Back in, when I had long hair, didn't have the goatee, I was a pretty good-looking cat. So anyway, I lose the job, I get fired. It's time to come up with a new identity. That's when Vince McMahon from WWF back in the day gave me a call, and they wanted to bring me in as the ringmaster. So I went in as the ringmaster, but I knew going in, that was just a foot in the door. The ringmaster didn't have staying power, didn't have legs. You were never gonna see that as a marquee name on anything. I watched a special on a serial killer, Richard Kuklinski. I came up with the concept of just a cold-blooded, ruthless heel, because he was known as the Iceman. I pitched the office all these ideas, and they came back with names like Fang McFrost, Otto Von Ruthless, and Ice Dagger, temperature-based names. I was very frustrated. My wife at the time was from England. At the time, she made me a cup of hot tea, and she said, well, don't worry about it. You'll come up with something. Just go ahead and drink your tea before it gets stone cold. That's your name, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So that's how that name was born.
Next up, we look at why Stone Cold spent years drenching the entire front row in beer, instead of just taking a sip.
When did the beer bashing start? Because that became so iconic. Just the imagery of that. It was part of your identity in a big way.
I can't remember exactly when we started it, and I didn't invent it. Sandman was doing his version of it in ECW, and when I did it, I wasn't saying, hey, the Sandman did this, I'm going to copy it. It organically happened. I don't know if I grabbed a couple of beers out of the audience, because we'd have that cooler full of beer underneath that announce table. Mark Eaton used to throw me those beers, but Sandman would crush them off his head. I would just clack them together like that. You know, people would say, man, Steve always got mad at you because you wasted all that beer. And I say, like, they don't understand. You ain't in show business. You don't get it. Half goes in, that's for me. Half goes on, that's for everybody else. It's a win-win situation. You got to have some showmanship to it. What about a clack 2 beers together and just sip them? I wouldn't have been worth the flange.
There you have it, guys. Stone Cold is a total legend, and these stories prove he's easily the funniest guy to ever step into the ring. Stay stunning and potato that like and subscribe button.